Just had to. So, I'm from Siksika Nation, Nauer East. That's where my maternal family is from. My father's German, from Frankfurt. It's a good mix. I understand why they came together. They both experienced trauma in their childhood. Dad went through World War II. Mom went through residential school. And today I'm talking about the dog days. And basically it's the history of Alberta that you didn't hear in school or in textbooks. It's basically a Blackfoot perspective. If I say Nitsitapi, that means the human beings, the real people. And when Susan asked me to tell a story, I thought, oh boy, I need my props. I can't just tell a story without something to show you. I'm going to start with our friend the dog. Okay, so this is a dog from the dollar store, 50 cents, you know, like, nothing much to him. But the thing is that he's got a backpack, or actually a parfletch, and he's carrying things for the people. Now, in the dog days, there were many things that were super important. And when I recap, I want you to remember that the importance of what happened in the dog days. So, this is any time before the 1700s. And this is the land of the buffalo, the land of the Blackfoot. When you do a land acknowledgement, the Blackfoot were here first, then the Tsuut'ina and the Stoney, they came along, the Métis, but for thousands of years, it was Nitsitapi. And in that time, the people worked together. This was the main thing that I want to share with you, because that's what we have to do now. You can't imagine going out hunting at minus 40. So when there was a buffalo hunt, the people worked together, and the dog was the one who basically got them there. They got them to the best places to pick berries, to the winter camp. They would travel maybe 2 or 3 miles a day with the help of the dog. And you get a good size, like 80-pound dog, he can carry a little bit of weight, right? And it was a sense of unity, helping one another. And for thousands of years, it was the dog days before contact. So in Blackfoot, the dog, the word for dog is imita. This is makuye, wolf. And the wolf was the one who helped the people learn to hunt. There's one story that a Blackfoot family was starving, and Makuyi went up to them as their brother and said, I'll help you hunt. I'll help you hunt the animals with hooves and horns, not paws and claws. Now that is distinctly Blackfoot. Because I lived up north, I know when I was offered muskrat, and of course he was all cooked up and he was, came fresh out of the oven, and I was like, no, I'm not going to eat him. I can't. And I was brought up to eat everything because, of course, Dad went through war, so you eat everything on your plate. But Makuye he pitied the people, and he said, I'll help you hunt. And I always show the kids this. If you curve your hands, this is the sign language for female bison, male, female, male. I didn't know that till recently. So, hold on. Okay, this is why I love bison so much. I hope you can see that I'm actually hugging a buffalo here. I'm kind of petting her and observing. And then this one, I'm squishing her fur near her neck. And this day happened because I was brave enough to ask for what I wanted. I wanted a picture of the buffalo. I did a U-turn. I asked the rancher, can I take a picture of the buffalo? He brought me in with a bucket of treats and set him down, and then we were surrounded by 15 bison. They're a little bit intimidating until he said, come on, it's okay. And that's when I went over and greeted her, a female, tame. She was orphaned. And this is one of the best days of my life. I can say that because I asked for what I wanted, and the rancher was kind enough to just bring me in, and I got to meet her. So that's one of my connections. And also here, Siksika, our logo is the buffalo. I always bring this guy for the kids, but he's so cute.
We are kids.
Yeah. So I heard Anthony say that he might be writing more songs to, now that we're getting a little bit of a grasp on creating joy and going through a time where a little bit of confusion happens. And so last year, around this time, and I knew it because when I wasn't working, and I usually dance in schools, like I'm booked 6-8 months in advance because I didn't know how teachers have to schedule. And I always thought, I'll just drop in, I'll come to your school. But now I know that they have to do planning. With that, I finally had a little bit of time to do some artwork. I sew my own regalia, I do beadwork, and I do love painting, so I'll share that with you. Wow. Okay, so this is Makoye chasing the bison across the starry night sky. This is an old story. This is the story of the circle of life. That when I first heard that the Milky Way galaxy and the Wolf Trail is a story of beauty, and when I had that quiet time, this is what came up for me. And I thought, oh my gosh, I got to stay in the lines. I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. And then I just let it go, and I used lots of glitter. Some parents don't like glitter, but there's the dollar store diamonds, and then you see how the wolf are going in formation, and there's so many bison, and it's the circle of life. Okay, we come from the stars, we do our earth walk, and we go back to the stars. That's what my cousin and then Blackfoot older brother, what he shared with me. This is a powerful picture, and I love what it represents. Being connected with the heavens, that it's the circle of life. And last year, when I was in BC at my dad's, I seen the Milky Way. It's different kinds, like, then I was in awe. It's like, then I had a different perspective. I don't know if you know that in Blackfoot there's a word for Palladians. So we're connected. We're connected with the higher sources. Now, things changed a little bit when the horse came to Alberta, roughly in 1740, around that time. And in my spare time, I do beadwork. So, I could have made a nice pair of earrings for myself, but I'm fixing up this horse. But I just wanted to show the kids, like when I go places, that the horse was highly respected when they came to this area. Literally, Punakomita means elk dog. They thought it looked as tall and large like an elk, and it could carry what 7 dogs could carry. So that's literal for horse, elk dog. And I was lucky enough to find this little saddle when I finished the beadwork at Moonstone Creations, and it's just perfect. It fits. I was so happy about that, and I like Appaloosas, so I painted spots on her rear. So everything changed in regard to being able to move quickly. Instead of 3 miles a day, it was 10 miles a day. And then, like in the dog days, people were working together, and now it was like, oh, I have 10 horses, you have 1 horse. The status changed amongst the people. This year, on the TV, I watched the Indian Relay. I don't know if you've ever seen that. At the Stampede, they invite the different nations, the different teams, to bring their horses in, bareback. The one rider jumps on the horse, goes clear around the track, jumps off, and jumps on the other horse and goes around, and they do that 3 times. And bareback, Indian Relay, it's so exciting. Sometimes the horse says no, sometimes you're not, So that companionship and closeness between Indigenous people and the horses have always been very, very special. I have a special guest. This is Lemon the bear. Lemon is in a cradle board, and you can't go to any store and buy this. My daughter cut the board, and then you can see right here there's a grizzly mom and a cub. And when I get gifts of tobacco from the kids, then I right here I tied some on, and here that's for prayers. He's got his baba, and during residential school, there was no way to be able to connect with the traditions. They were the people were punished, and basically not allowed to practice, and that was on a government level. Practice speaking their language, doing beadwork, picking sweetgrass. The boys and girls were segregated. And so we know kind of the history of the residential school where the children were not happy. I'm the daughter of a residential school survivor. My mother and my grandmother went to the schools at Siksika, and I know my mother told me that she was punished for speaking Blackfoot. The thing with residential school survivors is you don't really want to open a can of worms if it's not safe to do so. Especially an example going up north, the communities there, when they have a therapist come in and then they share all their feelings, and then they have, this, they're talking about the trauma over and over, and then that therapist doesn't come back, they got a new therapist, then they have to restart. So these are, I think, changing times where we are healing together. No one was looking for the children who were found buried at Kamloops. I don't know if you know that. No one was looking for them. Maybe they did ground surveys. They want to put up a new shed or new, I don't know what they were looking for. But on some level, that the actualization of finding them came from divine energy, because now we know. And across the nation, and I can only speak of Canada right now, across Canada, every school is being surveyed, and and they're finding more and more. It's over 5,000, and that's unmarked graves. So I did want to put the buffalo over the cliff, and that was representing a time where the buffalo were abundant. Any number between 30 million and 70 million across Turtle Island, from way north to New Mexico and all in between. And every tribe, like you go to Hopi, you go to the Sioux people, they all have a connection with the bison because they were so plentiful, and they gave themselves to the people. And the people never wasted anything. There are dances and songs and stories and regalia, like a buffalo hat, which represents the buffalo runners, who were very, very strong and brave and courageous, who risked their life to feed the people. And so I'm just gonna push them off the cliff, okay, guys? Okay, I gotta do the war cry. Yeah! Now they're running. Now they got the eyes on the side of their head, so they can't turn. They're following the buffalo in front of them. Okay. Oh, no. See, if he was getting ready to run, and in the Blackfoot way, when an animal would try get up and go, someone was ready to put an arrow or club them so that the buffalo wouldn't go to the other buffalo and tell them that the humans were there. So these guys are running. Okay, Pokemon, buffalo, three tails. Okay, even the little ones followed their mother over the cliff. Okay, so this is the buffalo jump, where you have the drive lanes. It's wider on top, more narrow, and there's the cliff. There's a picture of a buffalo right there. And here's the buffalo bone. It's just an example of how the ecology is related to the history of the people. The buffalo bones are buried underneath the ground, and there are over 101 buffalo jumps in southern Alberta alone. Okay, so you see here, I have my Blackfoot dress. This is really, for me, symbolizing traditional times. Okay, the arm piece would actually be the two legs, and then here's the other two legs. I don't know if you can see that. And in the front here, it goes across the bodice and down and then over, because a long time ago they would put the deer tails together and then put the hide over their shoulder, because they didn't have scissors or sewing machines or pliers or any modern tool, so they made it very simple. And this is typically Blackfoot style. You can see the triangle at the front of the dress, and I didn't have anyone to tell me the meaning of that. So I offered tobacco to my friend Irvin Skelplock. He was a curator at the Siksika Museum for many years. So I offered him this tobacco, and he says it's for fertility. And I said, well, I'm going through the changes in my life. And he said, oh yeah, it's for old ladies too. So here we have a traditional style of dress, and then we have the more modern. For a long time, when I started dancing in 1982, when I was a young adult, I had danced when I was a little girl, but my mom and dad split up and didn't really have the connection to the cultural ways, because my mom left. And when I started dancing, I went for more traditional colors, very simple, very plain, and I didn't even know that I was dancing old style. By old style, I mean I use these high tops, and when the other ladies had beautiful like leggings and moccasins, two pieces, I had these old high tops from my great-grandmother, and it's one piece again. Women always wore the buckskin dresses, so they had to have their legs covered. And when the old people, they see me dance with these, they stare at my feet. They know. The other day I was at the Sundance at Siksika with my friend Eve, yellow old woman, and she was remarking, you don't see that pattern anymore. This is something special. And of course I would never sell it because it's a family design. And then for many years I was wearing them, and then I started making a hole in the bottom where my foot hits the ground. So I spent $20 to get them secured, and now they seem to be working very well. But I never knew when I was a young person, when my dad gave me all of these things to take care of, that how precious they would be. The lineage, the stories, the designs. It's so amazing. And for me, as someone who loves to sew and bead, I thought, I'm not making any more outfits. I'm old. I mean, not old, but I'm older. And I don't need another cape and leggings and, you know. And then I saw those high tops. And I saw my great-grandmother's design. It's like, oh my gosh. All of these years, I've been telling kids, okay, tell me your colors. Let's measure you for your shawl. And you have a family design? What are your favorite designs? I go with the child's energy and, you know, and many times they did have a family design, so I used it. And then I seen my great-grandmother's design, and I had to make a whole new outfit. So I think I'll read this now, and then because I probably won't have any breath left. After I dance, I'll be so sweaty. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Cecil, because Cecil gave me some information from the unity perspective with working with children. And so I'll just read what I had. Creativity and patience goes hand in hand in nature. Creative process learning through wisdom. So that's what unity said. And in the old ways, in the dog days, it was the rites of passage. For example, the Sundance ceremony or a vision quest to gain knowledge and oneness with everything. So when I read this hand in hand with nature, I immediately got the image that we are connected with the plant kingdom, the insects, the four-leggeds, the ones that swim in the water and the ones that fly. And then the two-leggeds, the human beings, we are the ones who have to be respectful and in balance with nature. I always tell that to kids because it's really, really super important. And if you take out the grizzly bears or the sharks, then things are going to get way out of whack, because the balance in nature is so harmonious, and then us as Nitsita being human beings have to put back. That's why we always, in the Blackfoot way, before picking sweetgrass or sage, we offer tobacco to Mother Earth. I couldn't pick if I didn't have that with me. I couldn't do it without the exchange, giving Mother Earth first and then receiving. Our children learn best through experience. So I wrote for the dog days and for the history, there were no classrooms. Nature was the classroom. The little kids, they had a sense of purpose, community, and then they went out to explore, and they could read the clouds, they could read the insects. If there was too many of a certain bug, there's going to be a cold winter. Different things like that. That was their classroom. And now the classroom is a little bit different, and I'm waiting for it to shift, and something maybe better can come along. But I'm so thankful that they made a mandate to implement Indigenous ways of knowing. Unity perspective, we will discover how patience is intertwined with creation in nature and in our lives. Just as we don't plant a seed and hurry it along to grow, we can't pursue a creative endeavor and expect to reach desired results without time, patience, instruction, and development. So my example, I guess, would be instinctively Nitsitapi always knew critical thinking. They knew from a gut level what had to be done, what needed to be done, and then the community worked together. And a lot of times in many of our tribes, the women were the leaders. Critical thinking was so important. As Susan mentioned last week, be willing to choose and activate our power, strength, and love. I wish to summarize the dog days working together as one, using our time, talent, treasure to embrace our freedom, stand up, stand free, and be willing to stand in love for one another. And I really believe that in Anthony's music this morning, when I was listening to rehearsal, is all about this, love and light, and choosing it in our lives. I'm going to say a children's prayer, a prayer for children's creativity and patience. Taking in a deep breath, centering breath, we become aware of our heart space, aware of the sun radiating its love and light, aware of the countless stars in the sky. We dwell in awe of the infinite nature of life, remembering and recognizing that our children are part of this magnificent universe, beautiful, perfect, whole, and complete in their human forms. Their souls are vast as the cosmos, connected to and through all of life. We remember they are full of infinite potential and possibility. We see them blessed with courage to create and the patience to trust the process. And so it is. Thank you, Cecil, for sharing those papers that you gave to me. I read them and I will use them when I work with kids, and I thank you so much for sharing that with me. I'm going to dance now. I wanted to dance at the end because it's just a little bit different energy than what Anthony shares. And the second song is hip hop, and that's a different kind of energy too, right? So just a short, brief sharing. I've been dancing for 39 years, and I also danced when I was 3 or 4, and it has always been in my heart. I love freestyle because that's fancy. You keep in time with the drum, and then you move how you feel. Women's traditional, women's jingle, they're just a little bit different because you still have to follow the songs. And but fancy is like freestyle. I've always loved fancy. I would say it's a young woman's dance. You have to have a lot of energy, spunk. You can't sit on the couch and eat potato chips all day. That's what I did. That's what I was watching Netflix and eating too much like a year ago. And then they had the thing, you might have seen my jacket. It says social distance powwow. And then you have to upload your dancing video, and then you could win money and things like that. But I realized that I couldn't even get through one song. It was so hard because you're jumping around, and it's like, okay, I'm going to submit this video. I might as well give her all the effort. But I was like, oh. it was a challenge to get back in shape. But I feel okay now. I feel good. I feel pretty strong. And yeah, I work with kids, and I teach dance, and I actually like teaching the history from the dog days, because a lot of people don't know that side of the history. There was nothing written. There was and even with the buffalo, the two governments, the U.S. and Canada, they worked together to slaughter them, so that the Blackfoot people would starve, and that was an agenda, and it was sad, because it got down to, I think, 1,500 bison. So now they're coming back. Now, Banff and many of the different reserves have bison farms, and I'll tell you one story and then I'll dance. At Ganai, down south, they wanted meat for the feast and the celebration, and the buffalo tongue is the most sacred part. You have to cook it properly, and then it's served in ceremony and things like that. So they had a large male bison, and he was in the pen, and he wasn't happy. He was kicking and snorting and pawing at the ground, and he was so grumpy, and he knew something. And then the elder prayed and put that tobacco onto the ground, and that bison just stopped and offered himself, and then they shot him. That's the relationship. That's the old ways, and then nothing was wasted. So I hope you liked my story. Mm-hmm. I'm going to dance for you now, and you can, for the second song, I'd actually like you to get up and move a little bit, okay? The first song, I'll jump around. Here we go.
let's get into the latest from Nation to Nation.
1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, side. Switch. Front kick. Higher. Yeah, lots of energy. Good. Crossover. Okay, freeze. Ready? Bounce! I just did that in Missouri for the Canadian conference. Pose. Show me your teeth. Everybody's smiling anyway. Here we go, jump!